Hello, Terry. Welcome back. Day
Welcome
after
back.
Christmas, a Boxing Day, right? And a lot of places in the world, they
Yeah.
celebrate Boxing Day today. Any idea what Boxing Day is all about, Terry?
I
Me
think
either.
no, I really don't.
I think it has something to do with the day after Christmas and boxes, from what I heard about, like in the old days, like the folks that were less fortunate would be able to use, it was a day to help the less fortunate after Christmas, right?
Oh, okay.
That's what I think, but I'm not 1,000% sure. So if anybody out there, I know our good friend Abtruse Allen probably has a wonderful sense of what Boxing Day is all about, and he can share that with us in the comment section. And hey, I found out today on StreamYard now, if you're watching us on Twitter, you can comment and we'll finally see it. So if you're watching
Oh,
on Twitter, kindly give us a comment. If you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, however it is you're joining us today, say hi. Let us know some of your thoughts about the races today. We certainly would appreciate that, Terry. Ain't that right?
that's right. Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about your Christmas, Terry.
Oh, I had my son and his family over, and a friend that I've known for many years that didn't really have a place to go. So we had uh, we had a nice meal and had some little presents for all the grandkids, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
It was really nice. The only negative thing was the 49ers. And of course, you can't win a game when you give up 5 interceptions and 100 yards and penalties. Pretty hard to win.
Yeah, who was the guy that threw all those interceptions? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Hey, and the person that didn't have anywhere to go, folks, that wasn't me. So in case you're
No,
wondering, that wasn't me.
that wasn't him.
Yes, although I probably didn't really have any place to go myself. All right, so before we get started today, Mr. Terry, want to point out that, of course, horse racing gets back. It is opening day today at Santa Anita. Of course, we got you covered with all that at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. There is a link down in the description below. A bunch of stakes races today. Mahoning Valley is the free track, so you can get started along with that. You and I, Terry, are going to start now with race number 1 at Parx. What is it all about, my friend?
Okay. Well, it's a 6 furlong race, a $12,500 claiming race, and it's for 3-year-olds and upwards, which have never won 2 races. It's a purse of 23,000.
All right, so a purse of 23,000, 6 furlong. Profile of a winner at Parx does tend to favor horses that have tactical speed, although a good chunk of them, about 37% of the time, they go wire to wire. Small rail bonus for Kid Men Carry. 2 through 7, they play fair, Terry. 8 and out, a little bit of a small bonus. Track is fast today, Terry. We also did 1,000 simulations. Based upon those simulations, we're looking for horses that have a simulation odds lower than post time odds, looking for value in there. Based upon our simulations, what percent of the chance the horse has a opportunity to run a speed figure above par for this level? At this level, par speed figure being 79, Mr. Terry. And then finally, we want to know who's going to be on the lead. It's an important part of the aspect of racing at Parx. And then based upon our projected pace, which are likely to get a race that's time, that whose times or its times are similar to winning efforts, Terry. What do you see here?
Well, that 9 shows lots of speed, so really no problems. Should get to that quarter pole first. The 3 has a small overlay from 5-2 to 7-2, and the 5 has an overlay of about 8-5 to 9-2. And then as
Mm-hmm.
far as the par numbers go, the 5, 3, and 9 are the only ones that have any par numbers at all. All but the 3 and 6 have pretty decent C-zone numbers.
Yeah, you look at this 9-horse Tap in Formation. Plenty of early speed. Should be confident on that lead with that strong C zone. Pay a little bit, maybe a little bit not fair odds, but pretty close. And 1 of 3 with a chance to go over par. Race shape, boy, Terry, look at this. You got a ton of early speed over here. These races tend to favor horses that have a little bit of late speed or be the speed of the speed. Who has the speed of the speed? That is Tap in Formation, about 1 length faster than everybody else. But boy, he's got a lot to clear to get to that lead before the turn, Terry. The 7 might be ideally positioned as a stalking horse, should be in stalking position for sure. Terry, let's see if he's got the opportunity to bring it home with some late speed. No, that belongs to the 2 closers. Zoppy Fishbane, I have no idea what that is. That horse right there too, but you got a length extra late speed for the Zoppy Fishbane. If this all group goes way too fast, that horse is going to be licking its chops. And then finally, our top total pace three horses that are a little bit better than everybody else in here, Terry, in the 3, the 4, and the 6. From a race shape, from all of our data so far, the opener looks like it's kind of wide open.
Yeah, it does too to me, but I like that 6 Game Run as my top pick. Finished in the money his last 3 races, and he won one of those races. Has a high percentage winning trainer. Number 4, Ira the Icon, is eligible to improve in his second start since the layoff, and he has a high percentage winning trainer. They added Lasix today. That's my second choice. Third choice is number 3, Smart and Fast. He has the highest last speed rating. He has a high percentage winning trainer and wins 30% of the races in the second race after claiming a horse. The trainer does. And then number 9 is my long shot, Tap in Formation. He has a high percentage winning trainer, has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and his best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. $1 daily double for me, 346 with the 2367.
Yeah, we have a $100 budget that we allocate towards bets across the race. Like if we're going to the track with a Ben Franklin, we're probably going to change things up a little bit at the beginning of the year. Maybe just stick with our picks and forget the bets, but we'll have other bets that we'll be putting out there, some new ideas and strategies for 2024, which we'll unveil in the coming days, obviously, right? Where you leave off, Terry, is where I start. I'm going to go with Tap in Formation, maybe a little bit too much early speed for the rest of these. Going to drop in class today, so that could accentuate that early race advantage, and going to catch a weight break. Should help it carry the speed all the way to the finish line. And anytime we've seen this combination, Terry, we know those horses perform well with the good shot to be on the lead and the top C zone there. Game Run, your top pick, my second choice. That one, the 6 horse, last race was better than it looks on paper. Better early pace through the first half mile, and another one that's going to be taking on a lower class today. Ira the Icon, the 4 horse, my third choice in there, Terry. A lot of room for improvement in its second start after more than a year off. We'll see if that horse indeed improves. So sometimes they regress a little bit from some soreness after some time off like that too. And then finally, the 5 horse with a great name, Zoppy Fishbayen. It has the top par plus score in here. Missed by just a length last out, going way wide. It is our simulation favorite in here, Terry. I don't know, though, if cutting back in distance is the key. I think that horse might go a little bit longer, could be to its advantage. I'm going to do a $1 exact key box with that speed up front with that 9 horse over the 4, the 5, and the 6. Race 1, our friend Christopher Souza says, ice cold, baby. He's going all Charles on us. The 9 with the 7, but just in case he likes something else with the 4 in there, along with the 1 for the exact trifecta box. So maybe taking Chris's advice, you go 9-7 over 9-7 with the 1-4 with the 1-4 in a trifecta. I mean, in a superfecta. What do you think, Terry?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
So it looks like where are we at in terms of the race? Okay, they're almost in the gates. So good timing on our part today for race number 1, Terry. It's a good indication. The 9 horse, Chris's ice cold winner, 5-2. So you're getting decent odds on that one. But let's see where the value is. It looks like the value is in that 5 horse, Zoppy Fishman. We have it at about 8-5, 9-5. It's 9-2. It's 6-1 right now. The 3 horse at 5-2 is at 9-2. So you got some value in the 3 and the 5 there, Terry.
Okay.
Let's see how that plays out. They're all lined up. Looks kind of like a gray day there, though, for a fast track, though, Terry. No, a little bit of overcast, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any rain in the forecast. Let's look and see. Sure looks like it's going to rain. Looking at the weather forecast, it doesn't look like it's going to rain today. Just be overcast and windy. We should keep the track fast, right? The wind.
Yeah.
And they're off and running, Terry. And as we thought, it looks like the 9 horse got a pretty good break there. Doesn't look like he's going to be the pace setter, though. That's going to go to Kidman Carey right now. The 9 did manage to get pretty easy. It's the one of the 9 really just jumped way out in front of everybody else, Terry. Like the rest of the guys didn't want to race today. They're like, They're still opening their presents. The 9 has gone by the 1. And unless they're running way too fast, 22-1, I mean, it's going to be tough to catch that 9-horse, I think, Terry.
He's way out there, huh?
Yeah, he's probably about a 3-length lead on everybody else and didn't really have to work to get it. The 6-horse right now is the one that looks like it's going to be coming. The 8-horse is the price horse. The opening quarter went in 22-1. They're coming through the turn. He's maintaining his lead, not really working hard right now, Terry. That 7-horse needs to come for Christopher D'Souza. 46-2. They really slowed it down, ran a 24 in the second half. Question is, can the 6-horse run down the 9? That's about it. You got the 1. Who's that on the outside? The 9-horse is still working pretty easy. That 4-horse is coming up in there. It's moving the best at the end. It looks like the 9-horse is still going to get there, though everybody's gobbling up ground late as he is tiring, and boom! Looks like 9, 4, 5, and 6. 9, 4, 5, and 6. I should have just bet the trifecta.
Yeah, you should have.
So the 9 goes off at, wow. You want to talk about some late money coming on that horse, Terry.
4 to 5, yeah.
4 to 5. When the gates were about to open, he was 9-2. I mean, 5-2. What is going on in Ben Salem, Terry?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's puzzling a lot of times. So
it's beyond puzzling. Hey, everybody out there that does this horse racing, like these states that run horse racing, the regulatory agencies, why don't you step in and do the smart thing like New York does and just say, look, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, pick up time where the syndicates cannot bet anymore.
yeah.
Right? They got to make their bets so people know what their odds are going to be. It just looks hokey in my opinion, Terry.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If you're not used to horse racing and you think you're getting 5-2, the gates open, it drops to 4 to 5, you think they're stealing from you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if the horse wins.
Yeah.
Anyway, race number 2, my friend. What do we got going there?
Okay, it's a mile and 70 yards, and it's a optional claiming race for $16,000 claiming price, $25,000 purse for 3-year-olds and upward, which have started for $16,000 or less, which have never won 2 races, or a claiming price of $16,000, of which have never won 2 races.
Yes, because in Philadelphia, they have to repeat it twice, right?
Yep.
At a mile and 70 yards, our friends, early speed wins. 28% of the time it goes wire to wire. A little bit of a small rail bonus for fictional fairy tale. 2 through 7 play fair. 8 and out, a little bit of a small discount. Terry, once again, let's take a look at our simulations and tell us what you see.
Well, several of them have some speed, but the 8 and the 1 show the most speed, so they might go head to head. Who knows? The 1 shows an overlay of about 3-1 to 5-1. The 2 overlay from 2-1 to 6-1, and the 5 shows an overlay of from 3-1 to 6-1. Par numbers, the 2, 5, and 6 are the only ones that really have decent par numbers, and then all of them but the 1 and 3 have really nice C-zone numbers.
Yeah, you see a lot of, again, looks like a pretty an opportunity for a lot of horses. You can make cases for them, get the win off the simulation. And here we have a barbell race. Everybody wants to be on the front, 3 of them, or everybody wants to be in the back, 5 of them. This race shape should favor the early speed like we saw in the opener there, Terry. So get out to the front. You got a chance. You got 4 of them in here. Looks like the 1-horse fictional fairy tale is the left arrow horse that could compete or sit right behind those folks. At the end of the race, Majestic Lion is the strongest of the closers, Terry. So if that one can sneak up close, although the early pace doesn't indicate that it will, it does have about a 2-length advantage over the rest of the field coming down the stretch. Top total pace horse in there, Terry, no surprise, is Majestic Lion. It's about a 5-point favorite over the 2, the 1. 5 points equals 1 length. If all this data means anything, speed will go out, 5 will run them down and go by about a length at the finish line. Terry, what do you think?
Well, I like the 7-horse, Nickel. He won his last race at Parx Racing, has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and his best start speed is fastest among today's starters. And then I like number 6, Party News, is my second choice, has a high percentage when you jockey, and the distance won't be a problem. I like number 2 as my third pick, Scamp Walker. Ran second versus similar in his last race as a favorite, but has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 31% of the races when bringing a beaten favorite back again. And then the 3 is my long shot. He has had a high percentage winning, a trainer jockey combination who in the last 14 days have been in the money 100% of the time, winning 2 out of 3 starts and a second. I'm going to play a 50-cent pick 4, 2, 3, 6, 7 with the 2, 7, with the 2, 3, with the 4, 6, 7, 8.
I am going to go with the 7 horse, just like you, Terry. Nickel ran a speed figure last time out, 3 points better than the next closest horse. Again, Andrew Byer's book is an okay book. Obviously, he is the godfather of speed figures. So if you're interested in knowing more about that, go ahead and take a look at it. One of the items I took out of there is that when horses run 3 points better than the next closest one, they have a good shot of winning. This horse should be more fit, too, in the second start after a layoff. Scamp Walker, the 2 horse, second call for me, Terry. Last race, its final time was better by almost 1.5 seconds. That might be hidden a little bit in the past performances. Horse does have some pretty stiff late speed in there. Getting a little bit more distance today should be helpful. Majestic Lion, this one increased its speed figure 5 races in a row. Terry, another nugget from a great author in our good friend Barry Meadows, the Skeptical Handicapper. Buy that book if you haven't. It's also the top total pace horse with a pretty big late speed advantage that we saw in our pace setup. Finally, the 1 horse fictional fairy tale, very consistent performer in there, Terry. A little bit of an overlaid, should be a part of the lead early on, was that left arrow horse that we talked about. And all of its race internals last time out were better from gate to wire. So race number 1 is finally in the books after an objection. Did you see, was there a, oh, look, Terry, there was a dead heat for second, huh?
Looks like it, yeah.
So the $1 exacta for the 9.4 paid $5.30, and the $1 exacta for the 9.5 paid $5.50. So to start off, I have 2 exactas to start off, Terry. Is that right?
Yeah, you do.
A double gift. But they total up to $10. Not a whole lot of money. You ready for race 3?
Yeah, let's go on for race 3. So it's let me get here. It's a 1 mile race, and it's maiden claiming, $25,000 claiming price, $26,000 purse for maidens, fillies, and mares, 3-year-olds and upward.
Indeed. So 1 mile, a distance we don't see all that often when we do Parx, Terry. Does favor early speed. 1 out of 4 horses get the lead, and they run straight into the winner's circle. Post positions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. They all play pretty fair, Terry. But if you happen to wear an 8 or higher, boy, you take a beating. It's a tough spot to be. So a little bit of inside speed could go a long way in race number 3, Terry. Fortunately, nobody's wearing an 8 or out, but it does look like most of the speed's on the outside there.
Yeah, the 7 shows the most speed, with the 3 and the 1 having some speed too. So who really knows is going to get there first? The 2 has a overlay of 2 to 1 to 3 to 1. That's the only overlay I really see. There are no par numbers in here, and the 1 and the 7 have the best C-zone numbers.
Yeah, that 1 standout C-zone number in there,
Yeah.
Terry. Shot to be on the lead, but looks like 4 to 5 might be a little bit mispriced. So you kind of hope the odds go up on that one. Our race shape for race number 3, Terry. Look at that 1 horse. If it gets the lead, is a lone E. The 7 horse, lone pressure. So everybody middle back, the 4 and the 5 so far, Terry, in their careers, not within 5 lengths of the leader at the finish line. So maybe you can put an X through those. Usually these races are won by horses that can get to the front. Volatility, Terry, has about a 1.5 length lead over everybody else at the quarter-mile marker. That might see a repeat of what we saw in the first race. Get out, get an easy lead, and then just glide into the finish line. Mucho Mystique, though, along with Wine Goddess and Jamaican Me Hazel. All right. And also Mamma Mia Eastern. A lot of these guys have a lot of late speed. So if their 7 doesn't get too far away from them, they might be able to run them down. Based upon total pace figures, Terry, it looks like you got 2 of them, the 3 and the 7, that are a touch better than the rest in here. So maybe a nice 3-7 exacta could be a good way to start. Terry, what do you think?
Yeah, I like the volatility, the 7. He has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. He can prove while returning to the dirt. Mamma Mia Estrina, number 2, is my second choice. Finished 3rd versus similar in her last race. And her best start speed is fastest among today's starter. And then Me So Lucky, the 4, ran 2nd versus similar in her last race. And then the number 1 is my long shot, 3 cups full. drops in class today, and has a high percentage winning trainer. No bet for me in this race.
I'm going to start off with the 7-horse like you, Terry. Volatility is your simulation favorite in here. Good chances we saw in the simulation, as well as our pace, to be the horse that's on top. We said about a length faster than everybody else. Also ran the top last race. Speed figure gonna drop in class. A lot of reasons that horse should get to the front and win. Number 1, 3 Cups Full. You have to consider this one, whether you like it or not, Terry, as the only maiden special weight dropper in the field, no matter what it looks like on paper. Coming in from Finger Lakes too. So you think like Parx is a track drop from Finger Lakes or a track rise? Or do you think it's just parallel?
I think it's a track rise.
Yeah, I kind of think so too. But the maiden special weight drop is it's something you can't overlook. Mucho Mystique, the 3-horse, Terry. This one's kind of moving up in class, but it's coming in from Woodbine. So we talked about Finger Lakes to to Parx. What do you think Woodbine to Parx is? That a class drop, or do you think that's a parallel?
Woodbine to which one? To Parx? I think that's a drop.
Yeah, as do I. So I think the horse didn't really fire on the all-weather surface up there in Woodbine. Didn't see a workout on Parx. We don't know how it's going to take to the dirt. So it's a wild card in here on the track drop. And finally, number 2, Mamma Mia Estorina. It is a simulation overlay, as we see right in here, Terry. One of the favorites, the second favorite, but pretty close. The fast track, which they're going to get today, unless all that haze turns into water at some point, is the key for this horse. 6 races, has 3 seconds and 2/3. So been Bob Dillinging it. Knocking on the door, Terry. Trifecta 1-7, 1-3-7 over the 1, 2, 3, 6, and 7. As we move on to race number 4, we're flying through the card, Terry.
Yeah, race number 4 is 1 mile and 70 yards. It's a $7,500 claiming race, purse $21,000 for 3-year-olds and upwards, which have never won 4 races.
So multi-winners in here. 1 mile and 70 yards. The kind of horse that gets the job done, has early speed. 28% of the time, they do go wire to wire. Small rail bonus for Singing Truth. Singing Through the Storm. Should probably read that beforehand. 2 through 7 play fair. 8 and out, a little bit of a small discount. So once again, Terry, if you have a little inside speed, could go a long way. First scratch of the day with Let It Flow Joe.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's a little inside speed with that one, but there's actually several horses. 1, 8, 4, and 3 shows pretty good speed. So it's really anybody's guess who gets there first. 4 has a little bit of an overlay, or it's a nice overlay from 3-1 to 10-1. That's about the only overlay I see. Par numbers, all of them have par numbers except for number 1. And all of them, but 2 and 3 have C-zone numbers.
So everybody can make a case to lay in the claim to the W in this race, Terry.
Yeah.
Yeah, perhaps the pace setup will give us a sense of where to look for that winner. The 2 horses with the most versatility are the 6, Sailor's Return and DeSantis. The 2, 3, 4, they want to be up on the lead. So you're looking for the speed of that group, and that's the 2 horse. Liam's Blue Moon, it's about a length faster than the 3 and the 4. It's to the inside of the 3 and the 4. So that one should be your pace setter, Terry, though it should have a lot of competition. It's going to have to find some late energy with that late speed number. Brindisi, the 3 horse, one of the front runners in there, Terry, with the most late speed, along with Dad's on a roll. Dads are always on a roll, folks. Ain't that right, Terry?
That's right.
Yeah. And then the 3 and the 4, they're about 1 length. So those 2 should be battling it out to the finish line, about a length ahead of everybody else, Terry. I think you and I both agree the 3 is the one to beat.
Yeah, he likes park racing. He's finished in the money 46% of the time, won 23% of the starts. The distance won't be a problem, as he has finished in the money in 80% of the races, winning 20% of the starts. And then I like the number 2, Liam's Blue Moon. Drops in class today, has a trainer, wins 42% of the races when dropping a horse down 2+ classes, and his best start speed is fastest among today's starters. Sailor's Return drops in class today, has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 28% of the time when he brings a horse, when he drops a horse down 2+ classes. And then my long shot, Dad's on a roll. He won his last race at Parx Racing, and he has a high percentage winning jockey. I'm going to play a 50-cent pick four. I'm going to use the 2-3 with the 4-6-7-8 with the 1-4-7-8 and single up in the 7th race with the 6.
A little foreshadowing there. We both singled up the 6 in the back end. So, if you're one of those looking for one winner on the card type bettors, that 6 horse at the end of the ticket might be the ticket, Terry.
That's right.
Is we rarely single up the same horses. I like the 3 horse on top too. I singled into my pick 4 here too. Brindisi. I finally got that name right. We talked about Andrew Beyer, that 3-point swing, 3-point clear rate over the rest of the horses on speed figure. This one has a 6-point edge over the rest of the field and did hold its speed much longer in the last race with some robust late speed. The distance is probably the key here, Terry. 10 races, 2 wins, 6 seconds. So I do worry a little bit about hanging at the end. Dad's on a roll, did run some better fractions in its last race, especially through the first half mile. And that was confirmed by improved pace numbers too. Thirdly, Sailor's Return is going to take that sizable class drop that you mentioned, Terry. Small weight break for a horse that's done its best work at Parx. 5 races, 2 wins, and a second. Then finally, DeSantis. I had him ranked higher, but he's dropping in the polls, Terry. He's got to get his mojo back in here. Maybe it can do so for Ron, both here and on the presidential trail, be an omen for him. But does have some early speed. I don't like the regression. I'm sure just like Ron doesn't like the regression in the polls either.
Yeah.
Maybe a drop in class will help here. And I don't know how you drop in class. Maybe Ron should consider the VP spot. I'm going to do pick 4. I'm going to single the 3 with the 1-4-8, with the 1-4-7 and 8. And like you, Terry, singling up that 6 on the back end. So both of us will be like this if we get to that one. Be 2 winners. That'll be a great way to start the day after Christmas.
Yep.
All right. We make our way to somewhat of the midpoint. The first half of the card ends in race 5.
All right. It's a 7-furlong race. $7,500 claiming price. It's a purse of $21,000 for 3-year-olds and upwards, which have not won 4 races.
That's 7 furlongs. The first time we're going to see that distance today. They'll be back-to-back 7 furlonger. Well, no, there's a couple of them. Sorry about that. Got ahead of myself. This has, I think, the biggest bias of all of the Parx distances in terms of post positions. There is a very strong and noticeable inside out. So the closer you are to the rail, the better. Stalkers do good in terms of race running style. 29% of the time they go wire to wire, Terry. So inside speed, Terry, is absolutely beneficial. It looks like one of them's got some inside speed.
Yeah, that one shows some, but the 5 shows a little bit more speed. So I don't know who's going to get there first. It's just going to maybe be a race to the finish line, or whoever gets to the out of the gate the best. The 3 shows an overlay from about, what is that, 4 to 5 to
between
5,
4 to 5 and even money.
Yeah, 5 to 1, and then the that's about all of the overlays that I see. Then the 5 and the 1 show the best. I'm sorry, the 3 and has the most, and then the 8 and 6 has a little bit of par numbers. All but the 3 and 6 have C zone numbers.
So looking at our picks, Terry, maybe this is the 3 we should have singled. Large. Neither one of us have them on our ticket, and we might feel small for not making that choice. In race number 5, the 3 horse look like a closer back in here. You have 3 that want to be on the lead, 3 that I want to close, and you have 3 in the middle. So those are Sesame Street horses, and they're not like the others. They really should get a good race shape in here, especially the 1 and the 2, because they have versatility. The 1 can be a pilot or a co-pilot. 2 can really be anywhere it wants to be on the track in there, Terry. Early speed-wise, looks like the 5 of all the front runners is the quickest of the bunch. About a length faster than everybody else, and really only has to clear the 1. So 5 is likely to be your pace setter. The 1 should be exactly where it wants to be. Should get a nice trip for touchdown there. As far as coming down the stretch, give me back my bullets. If that one's close to the lead, Terry, does have the late speed to go right by everybody at the end. You got 3 of them that are cut above everybody else. And then finally, looking at our total pace, give me back my bullets. Hat tip to Leonard Skinnard, along with touchdown montage. Those 2 a little bit better than everybody else. but you have essentially half the field that's pretty tightly packed in here, Terry. Another race I feel like can go to a bunch of different horses. Why did you order them the way you did?
Well, I like number 8, Butch. He won his last race at Parx Racing, has the highest last speed rating, and has a high percentage winning trainer. The 6, Hot Pot, is my second choice, has a big drop in class today, and he has a high percentage winning trainer. Give Me Back My Bullets is number 4, is my third choice, ran second versus similar in his last race, and he has a high percentage winning trainer. The 7's my long shot, switches to high percentage winning jockey, and the trainer, he has a trainer who wins 18% of the races in the first race after this trainer claims the horse. No bet for me in this race.
Christopher D'Souza, Terry, coming the pick of the day. Touchdown Montage.
All right.
That one, yes, he said, look out for that one. 152 exacta trifecta box. Good to see you again, Richard De La Torre. How was your holiday? Hopefully you got all the gifts you want. And Terry and I have a few more for you today. That would be, that's the plan.
That's it.
Yeah. I like the 8 horse in here, the 4 horse, Terry. Give Me Back My Bullets. Again, the Leonard Skinner horse. Have you seen them, Terry? They actually sound like, when you go to a concert, a lot of times bands sound much different than they do on, in the recorded music.
Yeah.
They sound almost exactly the same.
Oh, wow.
It's a good show, too. They play great music. And then, of course, everybody at the end gets to take out the lighters and yell Freebird, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Give Me Back My Bullets. This one's going to be coming on hard at the end of the race. I feel like the reason it wins is because getting an extra furlong today in distance. Bullet Butch, the 8 horse, your top pick, Terry, did run a speed figure 6 points higher than the next closest horses. All of its internals were better from the beginning to the middle to the end of the race. And 7 furlongs looks like the right distance, that quirky distance. 5 times out, 2 wins and a second. Only reason I didn't rank them first, Terry, is that strong inside to outside post position bias. That's going to be a tough post to overcome. Number 1, Touchdown Montage. Christopher's pick of the day has plenty of gas when the gates open up. You got to dismiss that last race altogether. It's going to drop to the lowest level of its career, and it's going to ride that red-hot rail with that red-hot early speed. And then number 6, Hot Pot. That's the final choice for me. That guy's taking an aggressive drop in class in its third start after a layoff, and that's following a little bit better fractions early on in its last race. 148 with the 48 with the 13468 is my trifecta in this race, Terry.
All righty.
All right. So we have time to do race number 6, Terry?
We do, yes.
Yes, you and I are like, there's that Evelyn speed reading class. We're doing the Evelyn speed handicapping, Terry.
That's it.
And what's going on in race 6?
It's a mile 70 yards, allowance race, $25,000, $32,000 purse, and it's for 3-year-olds and upward, which have started for a claiming price of $25,000 or less, and which have never won a race other than a maiden or a claiming, or which have never won 4 races.
I forgot to highlight that 4 races part in there. The mile and 70 yards winner typically has some early speed, so be forwardly placed 28% of the time. Can you think of any other 28 besides Marshall Falk? I really can't. 28% of the time they go wire to wire, small rail bonus. So maybe Smooth Motion gets outruns its odds a little bit there. 2 through 7 play fair, 8 and out, a small discount. So no deal makers or deal breakers post position wise, Terry. Once again, speed can be useful, and on that rail, Smooth Motion will be fast.
Yeah, well, several of them have some speed, but the 7 and the 1 have the most speed, and the 4 has a overlay of about 7-5 to 3-1. That's only really overlay I see. Par numbers 4 and 8 have the only decent par numbers, and then all but the 3, 5, and 8 have C-zone numbers.
Yeah, it looks like the 1's checking off a lot of boxes here, as is maybe the 7 horse in there, Terry. That 8 horse with that pretty good chance to go over par. Our race shape in race number 6. Look at that, Terry. You got most everybody wants to be middle back. Should give the 1 and the 8 a little bit of an edge, especially if they can get out to the front. Early on, it does look like 7. If I press the button the right way, looks like Smooth Motion. Caught and collect, tops the chart, catch the smoke. catch the smoke, a little bit of a left arrow horse in there. Terry could surprise, but on the rail should get the lead. Terry doesn't have anything to clear as far as coming home. The 3 horse in there, the pressure closer type, along with Batter Up Bud, the other closer type. Yeah, all the ones that want to be back look like they're going to close. The only one that's forward with a lot of late speed is Beyond Best. Let's take a look at the top total pace here, Terry. From top to bottom, only an 8-point difference. A bump, a slow start could be the difference between being first or last in this race. This looks like a competitive one too, Terry. How do you see it playing out?
I like that 4 Caught and Collected. It's my top choice, ran second. And his last race at Parx Racing has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Beyond Best, the 8 is my second choice, likes Parx Racing. Finished in the money 70% of the races here, winning 35% of those starts. And at the distance, he's finished in the money in 70% of the races, winning 30% of those starts. Tops the chart. The 7 is my third choice. Ran second in his last race at Parx Racing. Has a high percentage winning trainer who's Jamie Ness and a high percentage winning jockey Ruben Silveira. And then my long shot is Smooth Motion. He has won 2 races in a row and is now going for a hat trick. And he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. No bet again for me in this race.
So, Mr. Stefani here, or Ms. Stefani, no note on the no he, him, or she, hers in his or her Parx. A complete no-go zone for Stefani in here for any serious player. PA Racing is corrupt. AAF, we know what that means. Cannot condone playing here. I mean, everybody has a right to their thoughts, right, Terry?
That's right.
We're open to all of them here. So if you agree with our Stefani, let us know in the comment section. If you disagree, let us know as well. I think, as far as Pennsylvania racing is concerned, there are some good things there as well. And one of them being that they have 10 cards, 10 races a day, right? When they run, and they have full cards usually. A lot of states aren't able to do that, and maybe it has something to do with forces we don't see behind the scenes. But whatever it is that they're doing to get full fields and 10 race cards, maybe some of the less, if there are less corrupt places, maybe they should take the lead from Parx on that. As far as I'm concerned, in race number 6, I'm going to go with the 1 horse as my winner. That one is Smooth Motion, going to be the pace setter perhaps, and has a chance to be the lone E horse. Tops the chart, really consistent horse, more upside from last race when he held its speed longer. Number 4, Caught and Collected, just missed at this level last out, Terry. It was the first time at Parx, was at this distance. Has 2 maintenance workouts to keep that saw sharp sense. And finally, the 8 horse Beyond Best. Great name for a horse. Fair odds, 1 of 3 with a par score above. And one last thought about Parx, Terry. When you win and you hit a winning ticket, right, you still get paid, no?
You do, yes.
They don't withhold funds.
No.
All right. But if you do like other tracks, perhaps today, like Santa Anita, we 6 stakes races today. I think we did a wagering guide on that over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. There is a link down in the description below. So you can go ahead and take a look at what we think about all those big races at opening day at Santa Anita, or you can take a look at our free picks at Mahoning Valley, which is in Ohio. Wildcat Express, Terry, in that opener is going to be a best bet. Not great odds at 8-5, but you never know. Yeah, all right, Terry, race number 2 about to get started at Parx. So let's go ahead and rewind our simulations to race number 2 and talk a little bit about what we see developing on the track.
All right.
Right now, the 7 horse, the one we both like, Nickel, is your 8-5 favorite. What's interesting to note is early on, Terry, the 4 horse in there, Thirsty Pappy, took in a ton of money and was like 3-5 opening odds. So keep an eye on that 4 horse, folks. One that neither one of us really have in here in our picks, Terry, but a lot of folks back that one pretty aggressively early on. And would be doomsday for you and I on our pick 4. So it can run second, and we'll both be all right with that.
That's right.
So let's see. They're all lined up. They're ready to go, except for the 8 horse, which right now Wilkinson Warrior making its way into the gates. Whoa. There you go. And they're off. And the 4 horse, did pop early on, but the 8 horse right now, Terry, Wilkinson's Warrior, the one that we projected to get to the lead, it cleared pretty easily, Terry. So that one could cause some trouble for you and I, based upon what we saw in the opening race. You got 3 horses stacked up behind that one with Impetu, whatever that horse is. It's kind of backed off now. The 4 horse Thirsty Pappy, the one that took in all of that money, along with the favorite Nickel, the 7, which has moved up along the 8 horses. They go through the opening quarter in a pretty quick 23-4, Terry. You're going to have to kind of slow that down on the backside, or they might be in a little bit of trouble there, my friend. You got a pretty big gap, it looks like, back to number 5. It's starting to fade off a little bit. The horse on the rail coming in, it's tough to tell through that grade. The 5 horse is actually making a pretty great. I'm just doing great with my race call here, Terry. The 4 horses crept up, the one that took up all that money. They did get to slow down that quarter there, Terry. It looks like we're going to need the 4 and the 7 are up there on the front. They're battling out. The 4 horse, the one that took in all of that money, Terry, that I noticed there, has bypassed that 7 horse. He's up on the lead now. The question is, can somebody run that guy down? The one that's moving the best right now is the 2 horse. I don't know if he's going to be able to catch up to that 4 horse, Terry. He's going about 3 wide. The 4 horse is kind of struggling a little bit, so it does look like the 2 horse is going to run by. The 1 horse coming on at the end, too, Terry, could make things a little bit interesting. 2 horses flattening out a little bit, though, opening up the door for that 4 horse to come back, Terry. What was that all about?
I don't know.
So that was kind of weird running right there. That 4 horse, Terry, the one that collected all that early money that we pointed out there, is the one that comes through on the W there, Terry.
Are you kidding me? Wow.
Yeah, that was a really weird kind of race right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe
2 horses went, oof.
Yeah, maybe our Stephanie has something to say there.
Maybe, right? I don't know that was just tiring 2 horse there. I would pay attention, to one of those things right there. Who got second? It looked like the horse that got second was the 2 horse, I think, Terry.
Yeah.
Because those 2 were pretty, and I think the 1 horse came in 3rd. Because those were kind of running on pretty hard, although you got that 5 horse coming on at the end there, too. So, let's see. It went 4, 2, and then it's going to be close between the 1 and 5 for 3rd. The 5 ran by the 1 at the wire, but I don't know, maybe another dead heat for 3rd. Those 2 were pretty close, neck and neck. So 4-2, that's something to pay attention to when you're watching the odds early on, is to see where the money goes right away.
Well, that's true, but I've seen that in the past, though, where you get excited about it, and then all of a sudden it doesn't do anything. So you just really got to be careful. I think if you see that, you need to go back and look in the form and see if there's something you've missed, or if they may know something you don't know. So that's sometimes you can't do anything about it.
Because they Stefani, he's out. So Thirsty Pappy, let's see, what do we have here? Well, he's coming from Delta Downs. Well, that's pretty good. He ran off on the West Coast before that, Terry. Yeah, so that's pretty solid stuff. So he was a little bit of a class dropper in there. And, I remember when we had on, I forget his name right now. God, I can't believe I can't remember his name. But he had mentioned that there's, in Louisiana, it was a jockey. Oh, God, come on, Rich, come back to you. But anyway, he had mentioned that there's speed and then there's Delta Downs speed. Yeah. Because it's a shorter track. So came off, second off a layoff. Let's see, how did it do here? It did improve nicely the last time it made a second start after a layoff. So, yeah, a lot of things to perhaps like in there. November 21st, you had 2 maintenance workouts between there. The trainer, though, with the shipper, getting his first win off the ship, right? So that was something to kind of look away from. And only 1 out of 5, the first-time starters. So, yeah, there's opportunity to take that horse there, Terry, for sure. If you went back and saw those odds, like you said, and say, you know what? You got that West Coast horse with the Delta Down speed. Took in a lot of early money, must have been showing something in the backside that didn't show up really in the past performances.
Yeah, and for me, I would have went back and looked, and because it ran in Southern California, it would have made me really think hard about using it. So,
all right, race number 7, Terry. Since our pick 4s blew up, let's talk about something. Well, some 2-year-olds that can blow up.
All right. So in race number 7, it's a 7 furlongs, maiden, $50,000 price, $50,000 purse for maidens 2-year-olds and
Uh,
fillies.
yep, 7 furlongs. Again, we talked about this one being the most obvious post position bias at the Philadelphia area track. Strong inside out. So go, Clo, go. Could get that advantage in there, Terry. Stalkers do good. And 29% of the time, if you get the lead, you don't give it up. A lot of these horses making just a few starts. So the data might be just a little bit stronger than it might otherwise be 3-4 races from now. But based upon what we have so far, Terry, what's going to happen early on?
Well, 2 shows the most speed, but most of them have speed. So, I think that 2 really should get there to that quarter pole first. The 4 has an overlay of about 3 to 5 to 5 to 1. That's about the only overlay I see. Par numbers 6 and 4 are the only par numbers. All but the 3 have really good C-zone numbers.
Yeah, again, a lot of these horses just making their third, fourth, second start somewhere in there. In race number 7, that we are race number 7, right? So I got to press the right button there. The 5 horse, Tina Ballerina, making its first start. Eclair Blanc, that one hasn't been within 5 lengths of the leader. A lot of horses want to stuff themselves up middle forward, Terry, so the pace could get a little aggressive for these 2-year-olds. But a lot of times, horses do break their maiden, being close to the front, many times wire to wire. If that's the case, Alani, about 6 points, should be about a length and a half clear of everybody else. Late speed, Terry, little crybaby, which is you and I right now after the 4 beat us in our pick 4 with the 2 horse at a nice price. You also have Miss Ellery going to be right there too. So a lot of those front runners, Terry, also have some late speed. As far as our total pace is concerned, Alani, Eclair Blanc, and Miss Ellery, those 3 a little bit better than everybody else. Add in the 1 and the 2, you got a big drop off to the 8 and the 7. Don't know what the 5 is going to bring, Terry. So maybe you got a couple of different tiers in here, Terry. How did you tier them up?
I like the 6 Alani as my first choice. She's ran second versus similar only start after being well bet in that debut. She has a good furlong workout on December 20th, and she has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey, so a lot of boxes marked off. Number 2, Pure Lure, is my second choice. She finished third versus similar in her last race, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey, and a bullet workout for 4 furlongs at December 17th. Miss Hillary is the 4 horse, is my third choice. She has a high percentage winning jockey and can improve while returning to dirt. And then Go Chloe Go is the 1, is my long shot. She finished second in her last race and has a rail post. The rail post is winning 19% clip. I'm bet $10 to win on the number 6, and I'm going to use a 50-cent pick 4. I'm going to use the 2-6 with the 4-8. I'm going to single the 3 in the 9th, and then I'm going to use a 1, 2, 4, 6 in the last leg.
All right, for me, Terry, in race number 7, the opening leg of the late pick 4, I like you. I'm going to start it out with Alani. That does have that early speed advantage over the rest of the field. Is that lone E piece? So it doesn't need to be on the lead, Terry. If somebody else decides to go too fast, can be patient in there. And if this horse improves any off of its debut, should be a $10 winner for Terry. Miss Ellery, they must think, Terry, that they got a high-quality horse here, because the first 3 races that this horse had were non-graded stakes races for 100 grand or more. The 4th race, a little tired in the maiden special weight ranks, a little bit of rest. Let's see if it can run to the promise that the connections think it might have. Number 2, Pure Lure, early race improvement in its last race, and then has a bullet workout sense. So this horse should be in peak fitness. Sweet Distraction did run the top last race speed figure, Terry. That was at Aqueduct. Normally, that would be a track drop for me, but the race before that, the horse did try this level at Parx and didn't have a really good effort at all. So maybe a correction in the 3rd start. Finally, my pick 4, Terry, 2-4-6 with the 4-9-10, with the 3-5 and the 6-10. In that last race, Terry, I thought just about anybody could win, so I just decided to go with 2 horses and just cut my budget or losses, keep them to a minimum.
All right.
All right, let's go off to race number 8. 3 races to go, and then we'll close out this day. Tomorrow, myself and Charles will be back. I'm pretty sure we're going to do Tampa Bay Downs like we normally do. I haven't looked at the schedule just yet. So keep an eye on all of our social sites below. Horse race the number 2 day on X, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok. Of course, while you're here, hit the subscribe button and the like button. That helps us with the algorithms and the bell. So when we go live, you are notified. Race 8, Terry, what we got cooking here?
Mile and 16th, it's a claiming race, $15,000 claiming price, $28,000 purse for 3-year-olds and upwards, which have not won a race since September 26. Claiming races for $12,500 or less are not considered, and which have never won 4 races.
And at 1 mile and 1/16th, Terry, we're looking for stalkers 29% of the time. Eric Dickerson, they go wire to wire. There's a small rail bonus, Terry, for finalist. 2 and 3 also get a little bit bigger bonus than the 1 horse. 4 through 7, they get whack-a-mole. They get squeezed pretty badly. 8 and out, that is the best place to be at 1 mile and 1/16th, Terry. So at 1 mile and 1/16th, a little bit of outside speed, and boy, you got a lot of it out there, Terry.
There is. The 9, 8, and 7 have the most speed, so we'll have to wait and see. Who knows who's going to get there. 4 has an overlay of from was that almost 2
about
to 1?
3 to 2, something like that. Uh-huh.
To 3 to 1, and then the 9 is small overlay from 4.5 to 1 to 5. Then the 10 has a nice overlay from about 8 to 5 to 4 to 1. The 10, 4, 9, and 8 shows par numbers, and all but the 2 have decent C-zone numbers.
Yeah, 10, 4, 9, and 8. We have the same 4 horses, a little bit different order. Par Plus has those same 4 horses. So maybe this is a Par Plus. Well, in football, they would call it a parlay. We'll call it an exacta or trifecta box. Our race shape in here, Terry, you got most of the horses that want to be middle back. Maybe horses that you and I don't have, the 1 and the 7. If they can get forwardly placed, look out, Terry. They can cause some damage. 5 as well. Early on, though, it doesn't look like those guys are going to get to the front. All of these horses are left arrow horses that normally want to close, that have a normal giddy up and go when the gates open to put them in contention right away. A lot of those left arrow horses collect the big checks, Terry. Looks like Olympic Romp does have the most lace speed in here, Terry, along with Yes, Sir, Colonel. And in this race, neither one of those are going to be all that far off the pace there, Terry. Our total pace figures, the 9 and the 10, about 4 or 5 lengths better. 4 or 5 points better than the 4, the 8, and the 6. But again, another race where you have most of the field within a bump, a poor start of being able to win this race, Terry. And you got the same 4 horses, just in a little different order. Why did you put them this way?
Well, I like Last Romance because he finished 3rd versus similar to his last race at Parx Racing. Has a high percentage winning jockey. Yes, Sir, Colonel, the 4 drops in class today. Has a trainer with 17% of the claiming races. He has a horse entered in. And his best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. It's actually tied with another horse. The 10, Olympic Romp, has won 2 races in a row, going for a hat trick right now, and his best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. He's actually tied with the 4. And then 9, Silver Edge, is my long shot, finished 3rd versus similar in his last race, has a high percentage winning speed figure at today's distance. No bet in this race for me.
I should almost switch the 9 and the 10 so that we're in exact opposite order. I don't know how many times that's happened to us, but I'm going to go at the 10 horse, Olympic Romp. The horse does look like it's in great form right now. Did run the top last race speed figure. All the race internals were better last time out. Won 2 in a row. So, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to win 2 in a row. It's really hard to win 3 in a row. It's a little concerned about that one, maybe tailing off at the end. The 9 horse, Silver Edge, missed by a neck in its first race after layoff last time up. And its resume says couldn't prove enough to make up that neck in the second start off the bench. Number 4, Yes, Sir, Colonel. And I still don't know how you get Colonel out of that spelling, Terry, but it's going to drop in class. Does have some very aggressive late pace in here and a bullet workout between races. And then Last Romance. You cannot ignore Jamie Ness at Parx. The trainer does win at a very high rate there, but he's been really cold with Michael Sanchez, the jockey of late. Earlier on the year, they were winning at about 60% together. That number's dropped all the way down to like 17%. I'm going to do an exacta key box to 10 over the 4, 8, and 9. And maybe, Terry, Jamie Ness and Michael Sanchez, they heat up for you. Race 9, Terry, 2 to go. The beginning of the late daily double. Race number 9, 6.5 furlongs. Are you on mute, my man? Because I can't hear you. I still can't hear you. I don't know what the heck happened.
About that. Here we go.
There you go. Now I can hear you.
All right. So yeah, 6.5 furlongs optional claiming race, $75,000 claiming price, purse $50,000 for 2-year-olds which have never won a race other than maiden, claiming starter, or state bred, or which have never won 2 races, or a claiming race of $75,000.
Yes, and we use Brisnet, and you can see here that Sigel is not in the optional claim. Is anybody in for a price today, Terry? Yes, if you wanted to, if you had Terry's pocket change, you could buy Yuletide Gallop. And hey, what better time to buy a horse named Yuletide than the day after Christmas? And I think Yuletide actually means Christmas, and I don't know what language though, like Dutch or something. I'm not sure. Anyhow, at 6.5 furlongs, Terry, this does favor early speed, my friend. 32% of the time. Boy, a lot of great running backs with that number. Frank O'Hare is probably the best of which, notwithstanding his personal life. O.J. Simpson, they go wire to wire. There is an inside 3 bonus. 4 through 7 play under par. 8 and out, get a little bit of a bonus. So be inside, be outside, be fast, Terry.
Yeah, well, that 5 shows lots of speed, but there's a couple other horses in there, the 3 and the 4, that may have something to say about that. The 5 also has an overlay of about, what is that, 1 to 2 to 4 to 5 or so. And then the par numbers 5, 3, and 1 are the ones with par numbers. And then all but the 1, 2, 3 have decent C-zone numbers.
Yeah, so looking at this horse here, Terry, this Twilight Dancer, we've seen these horses where all the dark green boxes, along with the simulation odds, those horses have a great record of performing very well. They may not win, but you definitely have to consider them in your picks. Balanced race here, Terry. 3 that want to be forward, 4 that want to close. The 3 and the 7 have some versatility. So if these 3 go too slow, they can move forward. If they go too fast, they can sit and wait. Early on in the race, Terry, it does look like the 5 horse Twilight Dancer has a little bit of an early edge over the 6, Kelly's Kids. But again, 4 horses that should be really contentious coming out of that gate there. As far as your late run is concerned, Frankie's Empire, the pressure closer type. If it can be close, has a good shot. But Twilight Dancer, that 5 horse there, Terry, again, top early speed right there on the late speed. Might be difficult to pass what you can't catch. That horse does indeed grade out as your top total pace horse. 6 points clear of Maximus Meridius. And those 2 about 7 points. So this looks like a 2-horse race, Terry, between the 3 and the 5. At least that's what pace tells us, Terry. What does your handicapping tell us?
I agree with you, but I think that 3 Maximus, I'm sorry, had won his his debut race at Parx Racing and has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. He's my pick of the day. And then number 5, Twilight Dancer, is my second choice. Ran second.
You have the 4 next door in there, it looks like.
What's that?
Should we switch these 2 around?
Yeah, 5 should be next and then the 4.
All right, so I'll switch those 2 around while you go ahead and tell us about the 5.
He ran second in his last race, has the highest last speed rating, and he has a high percentage winning jockey. Number 4, as my third pick, has won 2 races in a row, is going for a hat trick, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. And then number 6, Kelly's Kids. He has the high percentage trainer, who wins 21% of the allowance races he has a horse entered in, and he has a good workout on December 20th. $20 to win on number 3 and a $2 exacta 3-5.
I'm going to go with the 5 horse as my winner here, Terry. Twilight Dancer, we see all these numbers, green, boom, 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 boom. Top in the sim score in there too. Drops from a $100,000 non-graded stakes race where it just missed by this much. So the drop in class here should make up at least that much. Maximus Meridius, you talked about that one, Terry. I think it won its debut by 10 lengths. So I don't know if the other horses even tried. Typical second race improvement for Maximus Meridius would be enough to get the W here. Yuletide Gallop. Well, Yuletide, the day after Christmas, just the name unknown gives us no other choice but to put that one in our picks. Finally, Kelly's Kids, the 6 horse, Terry. Not a fan of regression, which the horse did in its last race. But when I tried to see if the 1, the 2, or the 7 were better, my answer was no. So that's why that one got 4th. I'm going to do a superfecta 3-5 over to 3-5, all for 3rd. So I know I'll get that part of the pick right, Terry. And then 4-6 on the back end. And then finally, the last race for us today, the day after Christmas, race number 10, Terry. Once again, they're going to copy what they did in race number 9.
That's right. 6.5 furlongs, a claiming race, $10,000 claiming price, $26,000 purse for fillies and mares 3-year-olds and upwards, which have not won a race since September 26th. Claiming races for 8,000 or less are not considered, or which have never won 4 races.
All right. So at 6.5 furlongs, like we just discussed a few minutes ago, early speed goes pretty well. 32%, about 1 out of 3 gets to the lead, does not give it up. Get a little bit of an inside bonus if you wear 1, 2, or 3 post position wise. 4 through 7, yeah, they get squeezed a little bit, Terry. They struggle. 8 and out also gets a little bit of a bonus. So once again, like we saw in that last race, be inside with speed or be outside with speed. It looks like that's where you're going to find the fast one.
That's right. The 10 shows a lot of speed, but the 3 has some too. So I think it depends on who gets out there first. You can see they all show a little bit of speed in here. And then the 4 has an overlay from about 4 to 5 to 3 to 1. And the 10 has an overlay of around almost 5.5 to 1 to 8 to 1. Par numbers 6 and 4 are the only 2 that have any par numbers. All but the 3 and 4 have decent C zones.
So big wide open race, Terry. The odds maker doesn't really see a strong favorite in here. Peyton's College at 3 to 1. You know, that's definitely a tepid choice from the odds maker. Looking at the race shape, Terry, look, everybody wants to be middle back. So get to the front. You have a great chance. Let's see who's going to be the one according to recent pace numbers. Rolls-Royce Joyce, 4 points. So about a length quicker than everybody else. But, well, yeah, it's going to have a lot to clear in here, Terry, because say up to here can keep that one to task. On the way home, if a lot of speed does develop, Cents a Million. Yes, we know what that guy or girl does on their part-time in their spare time. That one and Take It to the Max. They have the most late speed, about a length quicker than everybody else coming down the stretch. Cents a Million should be involved in the early mix too. As far as total pace is concerned, Terry, look at this. You have a lot of green in here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 horses within 10 points of one another. They all should be bunched up. They're all bunched up on the early speed, late speed. That's why I said I felt like you can pick them all in here, Terry. I settled on 2 in my pick 4. How did you rank them in the last one of the day?
All right. I like that 6 of Fleet Diva as my first choice, going for the 3rd race in a row, going for a win in the 3rd race in a row, and switches to high percentage winning trainer. Peyton's College, the 4 is my second choice. Likes Parx Racing, finishing the money 64% of the races, winning 29% of those starts, and has a high percentage winning jockey. If I had a chance, the 2 is my 3rd choice, has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and has a high percentage winning trainer. Number 1, Take It to the Max, finished in the money in 9 out of her last 10 races, winning 3 of those races. No money bet for me as I'm out of money.
Yeah, I wasn't counting my money, but I figured I had a little bit left, Terry. So I didn't get the knuckle across the ruler across the knuckle. So I feel like I'm fine. Under my $100 budget. Yeah, I'm going to start with a Fleet Diva too, Terry. So we both think the same way on a horse with a strong C zone. Got a shot to be forwardly placed top simulated in terms of par plus in that regard. Aside from all those reasons to like the 6 horse, it's all or nothing at Parx. So you got to put it at the top of your ticket. 9 races, 5 wins. Did one the last 2, as you mentioned. None of them are close. My concern is this one's moving up the ladder. And the last time it ran at this level, Terry, it wasn't close. Rolls-Royce Joyce, I like just the way that name sounds, Terry, could be the pace setter in a race where when I was looking through all of the pace numbers and everything else, speed numbers, just about everybody regressed. So maybe getting to the lead is enough to get the job done. Cents a Million ran the top last race speed figure, should continue to be in form with 2 consecutive workouts between races. First up, off a little bit of a rest though, Terry. Again, a concern there. And then finally, Peyton's College. That one is your heavy simulation favorite, about 4 to 5. One of the 2 horses in here with a par plus score. Probably makes one big run coming out of that turn, heading into the finish line, trying to build some momentum. This race is wide open. You can press the all button and pray for the biggest odds. I'm going to go trifecta 5, 6, 10 over to 6, 10 over to 2, 4, 5, 6, and 10. Terry, that takes us through the day after Christmas at Parx. Again, tomorrow, Charles and I will be back. We'll do Tampa Bay Downs. And then on Thursday, Charles and I will get together and we'll do the championship meet at Gulfstream Park. Not quite sure what Tom and I will do on Foreign Friday. Once again, we had a pretty decent day at Shaw Tin over the weekend. So if you got, we were in Shaw Tin in Hong Kong. So not quite sure what we'll do on Friday. So keep in tune with our social sites to find out, because those foreign races, Terry, a lot of bombs coming over there.
Yeah, they really are. One of the things I love to do is I love to look at the races if there's like a hard favorite and they're like 2 to 5, 3 to 5, and there's like 15 or 18 horses. I like to do that favorite as a key box, so exact key box for $1. And then if a long shot comes in and it runs second, I usually collect pretty well. And even if it wins and a long shot runs second, I'll do fairly decent. So.
Yeah, because they put together some deep fields usually in most of those races. Hong Kong for sure, you get 10, 12, 14 horses in just about every race. And then some shots inevitably win for sure. Yep. So I don't know what we'll be doing there. We got a few minutes, Terry. I don't think we have enough time to kill. It doesn't look like they're getting there to the posters yet. So as always, Terry, before we part ways, any final thoughts from you?
Well, I hope everybody had a great Christmas. I certainly did. And I just hope you stay safe. Watch out for any nasty weather. And if you're, whatever you're doing this week, I hope you're successful.
Yes, of course. And always, we wish that no matter what you're doing in your day, whether you're working, you're just kicking back today, cleaning up after the family coming to your house for Christmas. We certainly hope that you have God's grace, God's favor, and that every single thing that you do, Mr. Terry, ends up in one place, and that can only ever be
the winner's circle.
Indeed. Thanks for joining us, folks. Happy New Year to you, Carlos. We'll see you tomorrow, though. Until then, folks, have a great, terrific Terry Tuesday. Let me find the right button to say bye.